Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is start a new folder, and I'll call it R Design for responsive design. Inside the folder, I'm going to make a file called index.html, so text document, index.html. Let's get rid of the text. And we'll open this up in Notepad++. Okay, so I'm going to have Notepad++ on this side, and I'm going to have Chrome on the other side. So let's size the windows. Now, just on the instructor notes side, I want you to take a look at a link that I put up here right at the top under the other column called Lorem Ipsum. This is a generator that generates kind of bunk data. And I'm going to generate 5 paragraphs by pressing this button right here. And select all of those paragraphs, and I'm going to put that into my document here. So I've got some text to work with. Now I'm going to quickly put in the various tags that you need. Okay, I've quickly put in the various tags that you need, and between the body I've just put in all of this bunk data. So what I'd like to also do is put in P's. So the fastest way to do that is just to take the first P and copy it to the beginning of every paragraph. And also do the same thing with the end paragraph. Oh, missing a slash here. There, I've just ended up putting a P in to close. So let's have a look and see what this looks like. Save it first. And that's what the document looks like so far. We'll put a little bit of a style in. And really, I just want a background color at the moment. So body. Just put in background color. And let's choose light yellow. Okay, so we'll put a body style, and it'll be light yellow. Okay. Okay, so throughout this, I want you to pause the video when you need to catch up and follow me just by doing the exact same thing on your laptop computer or desktop computer, wherever you are. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a line that is going to be sensitive to the width of the screen. Okay, so you can see the app media is a new thing for CSS, and this is going to sense the size of the screen. And if it's 480 or more in pixels, then what's in here will not occur. If it's less than 480 pixels, the new styling commands that I'm about to put in here are going to occur. So let's make it very simple and put a new body style in, and I'll change this to light blue. Now if I save this and reload this page right here, you can see if I vary the width of the screen, it remains yellow, but when I drop below 480 pixels, watch the color of the background of the screen. It changes to blue. So in other words, these commands that are between the begin and end take effect. So essentially you can have a default body for whatever the default screen is that you're catering to, and then for example, phones, portrait phones, they would follow this set of instructions. You can put as many style commands as you like in here. So if we go to this instructor's notes, I've got something called these default sizes for several different types of phones. This is the one that we were working with a second ago. You'll notice that they use EM instead of pixels, although you can use pixels. So I'm just going to copy this one over top of the one that I was using. And then what I'll do is I'll also define a style for landscape phones, just as soon as I clear things up here. So this one right here would be for tablets and landscape phones. So I'll put that in. I'll put that in a second, right in here. You just get the coordinates, or the begin and ends, all lined up. And I'll just take out this at the moment. It's having a little bit of problems. This greater than sign is affecting the comment a little bit. In fact, I don't really need that. Just take it right out. And just so we can see the effect here, I'll copy in a body background color as well for this, and I'll call it light green. So my landscape device will be a light green, my PC device will be a light yellow, and I'll have a light blue. So if I save this and go back to my document, reload, this is, so if the screen is quite wide, as it would be in a laptop, it would look with a background color of yellow. And as we close in and we get to the size of screens for tablets, notice it turns to light green. And then as we get even smaller for the size of a phone, it turns into a blue. So clearly our style sheet is being useful on 3 different devices, and we can put the style specifically for each of those devices in the appropriate area here. Okay, I'd like to go to the bottom of my HTML document and change these P's into sections. And this section will be called info, and I've got to close the section right here. And then the last section I'm going to call FAQ. And I got to close this section here. Okay, so I've got 2 sections, an FAQ, which is the last paragraph, and the second last paragraph is an info. So if I go up to the top now, and let's suppose I want to add some style. So for the info, I'm going to add these commands. So I'm going to have the info section width 100. Okay, for the info section, I'm going to have a width of 40. I'm going to float that section left, and I'm going to have a background color just for the info section, that second last paragraph, of orange. And you'll notice that I'm dealing with the landscape size of the screen. So this is for landscape or tablet type computers. Also, I'm going to add in some styling for the FAQ. So I'll put that in right here. And I'm going to have much the same thing, except the background color will be pink, and I'm going to float it right. So let's have a look and see what that looks like. So that's my document right at the moment. So this is the info section. The pink section is the FAQ section. But notice if I expand the width, we go back to the default styling, which is up here. And of course, if I were to shrink the width, we go back to what the styling will be for phones. So for each type of device, I can specify the styling. Let's just take the phone case. I'll copy this exactly down into the the narrow or phone case. And this time I'm going to put the width as 100% and the width of this section as 100%. And as far as float goes, I'm going to stack them. So there's something called, we could say float none, or we could say display none. So I'm going to say no float, and this should stack them. So if we take a look and see what we get this time, we're going to shrink the screen and take a look at the orange and the pink sections. And now for phones, they sort of line up like this. You know, I could also put a margin bottom of 25 pixels just to give a little bit of space here. And so this is what responsive design is about. You can basically cater the styling to whatever device size you want. Now, the advantage of doing this is that you want the content in one spot, so that if I make some edit changes to this line or something like that, I don't have to go to many different flat files that cater to different devices and make the same edit change. So you want the content such that you just make the change once. And you want the various styling to be appropriate for each of the different devices that is going to read this content. So that's what responsive design is.